Welcome to this latest edition of Audit Insights. For this edition, I'm talking with Lisa Rowder, Group Executive Director Performance Audit here at the ANAO, about efficiency. Efficiency is certainly a word that's used a lot in the public service, and something that we've seen through recent ANAO audits doesn't necessarily have a lot of robustness around how it's measured or how it's improved. So how are we seeing efficiency play out in agencies that we audit?
The simple response is to say that the agency is being efficient because it's paid an efficiency dividend. But how does the agency executive really know that it is efficient? That services, outputs or outcomes have been maintained or improved over time despite a reduction in the budget. They can know this if they derive efficiency measures or compare their input to output ratio over time, or compare themselves to similar organisations in terms of their inputs to outputs.
How important then is it for agencies to have visibility over efficiency within their organisation?
Efficiency is important to have visibility of because if your organisation is efficient, it is more likely to be sustainable over time. It is also a requirement under the Public Governance Performance and Accountability Act. As public service agencies, we are spending taxpayer funds that are in demand for other services and could be effectively utilised on many other priorities. So we have an obligation to ensure that our organisations are managed in a way that promotes effective, ethical, economical and efficient use of these funds.
Do you think then that reporting on and being accountable for efficiency is part of enabling a transparent public sector?
Definitely. The Commonwealth Performance Framework focuses on ensuring that government entities provide performance information to the Parliament, ministers and members of the public so that an assessment can be made of progress against the entity's objectives. This includes how the entity plans to use the funds entrusted to it to produce outputs and outcomes, maximising those outputs and outcomes for the funds invested.
This is the same benchmark that we apply at the ANAO in efficiency audits, so minimising inputs used to deliver the intended policy outputs in terms of quality, quantity and timing. An important factor then is how does an agency know whether it is being efficient?
When an agency is developing a set of measures to consider its efficiency, it can be helpful to identify a suitable reference point, such as cost versus output at a point in time or a suitable comparator. Movements against this benchmark can then be tracked over time as an indicator of improvements in efficiency. In auditing entities from an efficiency perspective, what we found is that the existence of good quality efficiency indicators within the APS is not that common. It is an area requiring a lot more focus.
So how can APS agencies focus on efficiency if it's not something they're doing now?
A starting point might be to identify efficiency measures for the entity or subject matter. This might be something such as the cost per $100 of grant funding or the time and resource costs taken to process a certain number of income support applications. Then compare the measures against suitable comparators and analyse the results of that comparison.
When we're looking to audit an agency on some type of efficiency measure, do we develop our own methodology and measures?
The first step in our audit process is to determine whether the entity has themselves established efficiency measures that it assesses and reports on over time. We'll then look at whether these measures are appropriate and provide a meaningful picture of efficiency. A benchmark comparator can be used, but it really needs to be treated as an indicator only. It doesn't need to be an exact comparison. You just need to know what the differences between your organisation or program area are and your comparator. In this context, assessing efficiency is like assessing value for money in procurement. In many procurements, value for money assessments need to compare products with differing prices and functionality. Benchmarking is particularly important in sole-sourced procurements, where identifying alternative products can be essential to maintain competitive pressure and achieve value for money.
I know there are some recent performance audit reports that we've tabled in the Parliament covering efficiency and efficiency measures. What were some of the findings from those reports?
The findings in these audits show that measuring efficiency is an integral part of good financial management, which is why this is a requirement of the PGPA Act. If accountable authorities are not identifying appropriate benchmarks and comparators for efficiency, it is not clear how they gain assurance that inputs are being minimised to deliver a given set of outputs. It is also not clear how entities can continue to deliver an efficiency dividend year after year and meet productivity savings targets if efficiency is not being measured. The findings in these audits are a useful resource to start a conversation within agencies about what an efficient organisation looks like.